You, Olympia and David and Breezy and Jennifer and Jen and Betty and John and Ron. Thank you. Good morning. What a wonderful day it is. Wonderful day. One of the things that John and I do when you become a member of the center is that we put you on our treatment lists. And every quarter, every 3 months, we do treatment for every member of this center. We send out a card that says, hey, next week you're going to be on my treatment list. I will know for you vibrant health, abundant prosperity, loving relationships, and joyous success. If there's anything else that you've got going on, let me know. And what I noticed is that the let me knows have gotten so much less. It was a revelation to me yesterday. I had a little bit of free time, and I was checking in with some people who were going to be on my treatment list this coming week. And this is what I say, is you're on my treatment list this coming week. I'm checking in to see how you're doing, see if there's anything in particular you want us to work on. Now, years ago, I would have to block off hours for these phone calls. And I would have to kind of gird myself up and get ready for it because of the barrage of let me knows that would be forthcoming. And we would treat people, and we would teach people, and we would inspire people and encourage people to heal and let go and forgive and grow and all of that. And what I noticed yesterday is that what I'm hearing over and over again is, my life is great. Everything's going really well. I've got plenty of money. I'm doing what I want to do. My body is healthy. My relationships are good. Everything's going great. Thank you for treating for me, but I don't really need anything. And I've heard this for weeks now. And some of you were in the room that told me that. And what occurred to me is that as a community, we have matured into our embodiment of the principles of science of mind. It's not that we're wishing and hoping for it all to work out, or that we're going to affirm ourselves into making enough money to pay the rent. No, we have moved as a community into a higher level of consciousness of living a life where we have more than enough, where we are at peace, where everything is going well, where our hearts are open, and we are clear about who we are, to where the brush fires are not as prevalent to need to be put out, and to where the crises don't occur nearly as often as they used to. And I just wanted to acknowledge that and to play with that idea a little bit, because I don't think it just happens. I know when I came into this teaching, I was holding on for dear life. And this was the only thing in the world that made sense to me, and I held on for years until I could actually have those demonstrations come of not putting out, of not handling a problem, but not creating the problem to begin with. And so what I think it is that we have learned not that we never go off track, because we always go off track. We're people, we're living lives, we go off track, but I think we've learned how to come back. And that's what I want to talk about. Not that we don't ever go astray, but it's not whether we fall down, it's how quickly do we get up. And I tell you, the speed in which we get up makes all the difference to me. Because the longer I'm in the muck and mire of it all, the anger, the resentment, the fear, the upset, the criticism, the longer I'm in there, the worse things get. So if I hang out in fear, then that fear is going to manifest over and over and over again in my life until I remember and bring myself back. And I believe that as a community, we can all give ourselves a pat on the back that we've gotten really good at coming back to who we know ourselves to be, coming back to love, coming back to joy, coming back to clarity, coming back to happiness, coming back to oneness, coming back to knowing who we are and remembering that. To come back is so important. But you know, I never stand up here and try to be all holy, because I figure we're all in this together. And so I've had some practices this week of coming back. And I say that because I know that we all do. But it's how quickly we come back that's so important, like I said. I went to see Nina on Wednesday. Nina had her second surgery in 5 days on Tuesday night, and I just went in to check on her on Wednesday. I had seen her Sunday, she was fine. And I went to check on her on Wednesday, and I blew a gasket because she was 12 hours out of surgery and highly under-medicated and was not being acknowledged by her medical staff. And I flipped out. I flipped out. In retrospect, I think I could have accomplished the same thing without being so loud. And without, because I know how to use energy, without flinging as much anger and veiled threats as I did. And it took me a while to get back from that. You know, once you go over the edge, it takes a while to come back. Welcome back from the New York Fashion Show, Chuck Camper. Some normal person, you're a superstar. Takes a while to come back, you know, when you just feel so justified that you say, I am completely giving myself permission to just go right over the edge, because I'm right. And maybe it was right, maybe it could have been done with less drama. Maybe I wouldn't have had to make that hospital report and all of that. It took me a while to come back from that. My adrenals were going crazy, I was exhausted, my eyes were bright red like I had been crying for hours, and yet I came back. And on Friday, John's cousin Nancy, Aunt Nancy, had made her transition. And John has lots of family up here. They don't really like us. And so we went to the Mills River United Methodist Church for the funeral. And we did that, and it only took me a couple of hours to come back. Well, we go astray and we come back. And we go astray and we come back. And what I want you to know is it's okay to go astray. Just come back. Right. Yesterday I got a call from my sister who shared with me that my nephew was just diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. And it took me a while to come back from that. But you know, you are one of my greatest teachers. And you helped me realize everybody's on their perfect and right path. We were never born and we cannot die because we live and are God. And these last 48 years that we got from this being who was never supposed to have survived birth have been a gift, and that all is well. And so whatever those things are that we do, and I figured that was a pretty broad spectrum of going astray and coming back that would include everybody's stuff. Whatever those things that we do to get off the path, the important thing is to come back. Ernest says, nothing is real unless you make it real. Nothing can hurt you unless you allow it to hurt you. Refuse to have the feelings hurt. And I would add to that, especially by yourself. Refuse to receive anyone's criticism and condemnation. And for me, it's mostly in my head that I'm doing that. In the independence of your own mentality, know that you are wonderful. This is not conceit, this is the truth. Nothing is real unless you make it real. And so what are we making real? What is it that is so tempting for us to go off the path that says all is well, all is one. We are created out of love, love is what we are, everything is wonderful. What is it that says, nah, not there, not there. I mean, we're charging off the path on this one with a blazing sword of fire. No, come back, come back. Most of the time we find ourselves triggered off and we don't even think. We're reacting. And reaction is not creation the way we want it to be. Reaction creates, but it doesn't create consciously. We are not even thinking when we're reacting. The fight or flight mechanism kicks in, the adrenals go crazy, all the blood goes to your limbs so that you can either fight or run. It's a biochemical response that is, there for our survival, but where does that blood come from? Your brain. And so as soon as you react, as soon as we react, we get stupid. And some of us do stupid things. Just come back. Do you know that an airplane is off course 99% of the time? But they're really good at coming back. Airplanes zigzag their way to their destination, and a lot of that has to do with crosswinds. The winds just blow them off course, and so they come back. And so we get blown off course. But if we never correct and come back, then we don't have the opportunity to get where we want to go. So I want us all to get off our own backs and stop holding up this idealized image that says, now we have to be spiritually perfect, and every word that comes out of our minds, our mouths, have to be in complete alignment with principle, because it's never going to happen. It's not what happens to us, it's how we happen to it. And so if we can let ourselves off the hook, we can have what's called the second thought. Oh my God, I thought that, now I've got to live it. Well, if you don't ever think a second thought, that's true. But we have the ability to think again. We have the ability to choose again. We have the ability to correct and go back to oneness, back to love, back to clarity, back to joy. And it doesn't really matter, other than the longer you wait, the worse the circumstances get. It doesn't really matter how long it's been. So let's say you've been off course with this ex-spouse, ex-significant other, ex-business associate. You've been off course with them for decades. Come back. Come back. Not forgiving someone is like drinking poison and expecting them to die. It only kills us. So come back. Whatever it is that has tempted you to go outside of the idea that spirit is all that there is, that everything really is wonderful, it's beautiful, it's prosperous and healthy and whole. Whatever it is that has convinced you to go another way, just come back. Realize that the door is always open. It's like Motel 6, you know? Spirit will keep the light on. The door is always open and you can always make that shift. And it doesn't even matter how far off course you've gone. You can always get back. Sometimes it just is a thought. Sometimes it's a word. Sometimes it takes a deed. But understand that you are always at choice as to how you demonstrate this teaching. And this teaching means nothing if we're not demonstrating it. You are always at choice inside of your own head, inside of your own heart, as to how this manifests in the world. And one of the things that I love about our center is our tagline is welcome home. And whenever people go off, whether they move away to Germany or whether they've just gone off the path for a little while, whenever they come back, we say welcome home. And I think that our ability as a community to get back to center, to get clear about who we are and what's going on, and that it is all inside of us, and that we have the ability at any moment to reposition our thought and our consciousness to experience and demonstrate the best life ever. The fact that we can do that is a statement of how we have grown. And so I want to say to you, if you find yourself off the path, it's easy. Just come back And when you come back, you will be met with open arms that say, welcome home. I love you.
Barbara. Wonderful. So we want to find out if there's anyone with us today for the very first time. If you're here for the first time, would you just raise your hand? We promise not to embarrass you too much. Welcome. We're really delighted that you're here. And everybody's walking in other directions. Selena, come back here. Come back here. This nice lady right up here in the second row. Why don't you give her one of those cards? Good to have you with us. Anyone else here for the first time? Did I miss somebody? Yes, wonderful. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Thank you for being with us. Those cards that you're getting are an opportunity for you to tell us a little bit about you so we can tell you what's going on here, but not overwhelm you with information. All right, we promise. We're really pretty good at that. All right, fantastic. Thank you again for being here. Let's have our prosperity acceptors come forward. We'll get these checks that have come in the mail, and Barbara's in mine. Maybe not that one, it's a deposit. that one, okay, we got it. We're getting cash in the mail now, isn't that interesting? Thank you, website. Thank you, Devon and Rodney. Thank you for being here. Let's take it inside for a moment. Knowing that the presence and the power of the one is right here. We know it's present in and through and as all things in our lives. God is omnipresent, ubiquitous, completely contained, everywhere and always. We know that's true for this money that we hold in our hands, or the representation of money that we hold in our hands as checks and cash and whatever else we might have envelopes. Knowing that this flow that we create with this, that has come to us and now comes to this center, is a blessing from whence it came and where it goes. And that all is well in this dynamic flow of spirit. In fact, it is the demonstration of God in our lives that we are in this wonderful flow. And we know our center is blessed by it, and that each one that gives is blessed by it. For we are that dynamic flow of spirit, and all that we think, all that we say, and all that we do. And knowing that is so, we repeat these words together aloud. I freely and joyously give from the abundance and fullness of my overflowing wealth, knowing my gift goes with love as it touches and blesses the world. And so it is.
receive in love. I give and receive in love.
So thank you. Thank you for your generous loving of the center. Thank you for the time you give, the energy you put into this place, the way you connect with all, and for your gifts of money, so that we can pay the bills around here. But there's something more about this. There's an energetic that doesn't leave. It stays here. It's part of us. It tells us that we are connected infinitely and eternally in the oneness of spirit. And it shows, and it works. And I am grateful, and so it is. We have children.